Yo, welcome back to Containing Luxury. I almost forgot to say yo. People have been calling me out on that lately. So yo, welcome back. So on this episode, we're actually gonna discuss why it is not a good idea to build a container home on a trailer. Let's get started.
Damn, you're super strong.
It's not all trailers, but most trailers. So as you've seen, we have the giveaway container that we built on the 20-foot container on a 30-foot flatbed trailer. We drove that trailer to Texas and we had to unload the 20-foot container. We found out really quickly that it was a bad idea building the entire container out to now very carefully try and get something that weighed about 8,000 to 9,000 pounds off of a flatbed trailer. So we'd kind of discussed in the past that we're like, okay, we're probably gonna use some farm jacks. We're gonna jack it up and we're gonna put pipe underneath it. And then we had the mega ramps on our trailer, which if you've seen our trailer video, we have a cool flatbed trailer, but the mega ramps really, they fold down and they make a nice ramp down. So I'm like, okay, we'll put some pipe underneath and we'll figure out a way to just very slowly roll it off the trailer and gently do it.
I'm gonna use these farmer jacks. I'm gonna jack it up on the front, put a bunch of little pieces of pipe, and then move the farmer jacks to the back, jack up the back, put a bunch of pieces of pipe, and then we're gonna pull this trailer forward a little bit. I'm gonna mount a winch, I think, to the front up here, just to keep a little bit of tension on it, and we're gonna slowly push it off the back of the trailer, and those ramps back there, those will fold down and they're a pretty gradual slope. So hopefully we'll be able to kind of like just slowly roll this thing off onto some blocks.
Yeah, that's gonna be a bit of a problem.
That was not nearly as easy as we expected. We bought some EMT pipe and we figured we'll just put a bunch of pieces of the pipe, which is like metal conduit. And by putting a lot of the pieces, we'll reduce the weight load on each individual piece and hopefully it won't crush it. Well, that didn't work at all. It pretty much crushed the pipe instantly. So we went back and we were like, okay, let's buy some little bit heavier duty gauge pipe and we'll try and do the same thing. We got it onto that. Maybe if we would have greased the pipe up or something, it would have worked better. But again, way too much friction just being conducted between the container, the pipe, and the trailer still was not working. And then it started kind of sliding off the trailer as we started to pull it back. At this point, I didn't have my Bobcat in Texas, so we've kind of like, we're working with whatever we had available. So we had these big farm jacks and we hooked up some chains and we very carefully started ratcheting them down. We hooked them to some big trees and we started pulling it off the trailer. And some guys were like, oh, well, we could just hook the container to the tree and just drive forward. Well, yeah, that would work fine if the container was empty, but this thing's built out with $25,000 in high-end finishes and really nice cabinets and countertops and plumbing fixtures. So if this thing's just getting dragged across this trailer as I pull it away and it's skipping down the metal, it's gonna be so violent, I'm definitely gonna damage a bunch of stuff. So virtually, the solution was that we just had to just super slowly, one ratchet at a time, and then adjust the chains. And then as it got to a point, put a board underneath. And it took us like an entire day with like 3 guys that knew how to rig stuff up and hooking trucks up to different points so it didn't slide off. It was an absolute nightmare. So the first thing I thought when this was all going on is, man, I'm never building a container on a trailer again. So when you get them delivered, it's like you can just drop them right on the ground, it doesn't even matter. Learn from my mistake, or not really necessarily mistake, but pain. It was a major pain. So don't build your container out and have everything nice and finished and then have to go through the violent unloading process, because there's really no way to do it unless you had a lull or like some big like forklift on site and it was flat ground. But where we were doing it, we were in an area that we didn't have any big forklifts. We didn't have a lull. I want alfalfa. I want to be alfalfa. That's fine. Whatever, rhyme. My hair sucks. I'm going hat. it was just a major pain. If you have the right equipment, I know people are always chiming in and they're like, oh, have you ever heard of a side loader? Okay, well, yes, if you have a side loader, you might not have to worry about any of this. Or if you have a crane on your site, yeah, you might not have to worry about this. But if you're a DIY guy and you're like, dude, I'm gonna build this thing out on this flatbed trailer and I'm gonna drive it up and I'm gonna unload it, it's not that easy. You know, it can become a major pain. It's a pretty violent process no matter how you do it. So if you have the possibility of even loading all the materials into your container, driving it to where it's gonna go, and then tie that container to a tree and slowly drive forward and drag it off, if that's the way you have to do it, by all means do it that way, and then level the container out and then construct it. It's just not worth the risk of damaging everything on the inside. We eventually did end up getting the container completely off of the trailer, and it was a nightmare, but we managed to do it without any damage. If it would have been empty, I would have had that container off the trailer in literally 30 minutes. But instead, we were worried about damaging stuff, and it made the whole process way more lengthy and a total pain. Now, this is also in an area that was like tough to get into, so again, you know, it's all to where it's going and what equipment you have access to. Some people, this might be like, oh, I don't even need to worry about that. I'm gonna build it on a flatbed because I'm driving it to a parking lot where I have a forklift that's gonna come in and very carefully lift it up and put it down. That's the case, you don't have to worry about this. But for the people that had the idea of I'm gonna build it on a trailer and then deliver it to where it's going, really make sure you have the proper equipment to do that. Or if you have the option and you don't have that equipment, just load it with all the materials you need, get it to where it's going, drop it, and then build it there. That might end up being the easier solution. So we hope this video has been helpful to you, despite my hair incident in the middle. I'm so sorry. Look like a clown. That's about it. Hope this video has been helpful. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hang out with us because we're gonna be filming a lot of cool videos. We've got some cool stuff coming up. Anyway, that's it. Learn from our mistakes because we make a ton of them. Containing Luxury, out!